from Centerville where the tornado emergency was issued, and clearly he's continued to track conditions there. Boy, tough to see on that skyline. I'm not sure that I see anything that's jumping out at me right now that shows a tornado, but we'll continue to monitor this. As we know, this is a confirmed tornado that's been going through the region and has been causing a whole lot of damage. Mike, this is one of those scary nights for sure, where folks feel unsettled. We always say, you know, be prepared, not scared if you can. I know that's easier said than done, right? But sometimes you gotta be strong for the kids and the rest of the family, and just make sure you have everything in place, and that you plan it. That's why we plan ahead for these things, and why watches are issued, and why high-risk days are issued, so that you know leading up to this event that you've got that time that's needed to be able to take that action immediately. Because when you have fast-moving storms like this that are confirmed and on the ground, there's just little time sometimes to get to that safe place.
So I'm going to show, we have on here, Jackie, just the last hour of radar data, and in an hour the tornado has been on the ground for 53 miles now, and no indication that it's weakened all that much even in the last hour. In fact, I think it's intensified over the last, it's maintained a pretty straight line too. It hasn't been that erratic, it hasn't cycled, it's actually stayed intense about that entire 53 miles at this point. So all points in between have been in danger. And we talked about John Humphrey's camera in Centerville. Centerville, I believe, is about right here, just outside of Brent, so between Calera and Brent. But you know, when you think about a tornado that's been on the ground for that long, it's been on the ground even longer than that. I mean, I'd have to set the radar back a couple hours to get all of it, but this potentially could be it. And I think it was back around Forkville. Now I'm starting to get all my cities. Forkland. So Forkland then is way back. I'll even get you to Forkland to there.
Okay.
It was, I think it was even past Forkland. It was on the ground. So from there to there, it's been on the ground for 76 miles.
Wow.
A really long track tornado, and a lot of that track has been violent tornado.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got two of them that we're tracking right now, and interesting too that these are somewhat isolated, so to speak, but a lot of times that can happen too, Mike, right? Where these strong storms sort of suck out all the energy, so to speak, in the atmosphere and take over and end up being, you know, the main event or the one main show that moves through. Now, that's not to say there aren't going to be other rotating storms, but certainly it takes a lot of energy, a lot of that cape, a lot of that lift to be able to sustain a storm like this. And the environment out ahead of it continues to stay strong and very favorable for that thing just to keep going.
It does. Dr. Knapp was analyzing this yesterday, because we talk about SLIM a lot here on the Weather Channel. If you watch it with any frequency, we talk about shear, lift, instability, and moisture, kind of the four ingredients that you really need to have for tornadoes to form. He was talking yesterday about how instability is going to be really high today, and we're going to get these storms that really hold together and take off once they get forming. And the hook echo on this has been there for a while right now, and so that, you know, when you see the threat being catastrophic, that word we don't use very often, right? And so it really gets your attention, and it really, you know, for folks that are in line, the time to act is at that moment.
Absolutely. Never delay, always. And just a quick reminder again, a watch means conditions are favorable. A warning means it's happening now. Get to your safe place immediately as these warnings continue here tonight. Continuing coverage on the Weather Channel.